My name is Ava. I'm 29 years old, living in a quiet suburb just outside of Chicago. Life here moves at a gentler pace, painted with the green of old trees and the familiar faces in small storefronts. I ride the bus into the city every morning. I work in a modest bank branch near the main station. It's not a corporate giant, but a steady stream of people flows through its doors each day. My place is at the front desk. The role is straightforward. I greet customers, help them navigate the paperwork, and provide information. Most days blend into one another. Faces come and go. Some are warm and patient, others are rushed, their minds already on their next destination. Through it all, I offer a smile. I am not married. It's a fact that seems to invite questions. When people ask why, I simply say I enjoy my independence. Most of my friends have settled down, some are raising children, but I don't feel a sense of lack. I feel content. One afternoon, a man approached my desk. He handed me some documents with a polite smile and then asked, "Are you married?" The question caught me off guard. I recognized him. His name was Mark, the cousin of my friend Sophie, and I knew for a fact he had a wife. I managed a polite smile and replied, "No, I'm single." He started to say something more, but I cut him off gently. "I like being single. It works better for me." He didn't press the issue, just offered another smile and walked away. After he was gone, the question lingered in my mind. Why is this such a common inquiry for women? I never ask people why they are married, so why is my single status a subject for discussion? I glanced around the office. The majority of my colleagues were women. Some were older, some were newlyweds just starting their lives together. All the men were married except for one. His name was Liam. He worked in the loan department. At 37, he had joined our branch last year. He was intelligent and had an easygoing charm. He was always willing to help and often lightened the mood with a joke during lunch. His wide, friendly smile was a constant feature of his morning greetings. Liam wore no wedding ring, and the office grapevine confirmed he was single. It was no secret that a few of my coworkers were interested in him. He was tall, well-built, and always impeccably dressed in crisp shirts and polished shoes. He owned a small house nearby, still making payments on it. We would occasionally chat in the break room, simple conversations about the quality of the coffee, the unpredictable weather, or the morning's headlines. But he always listened, truly listened. In a world full of noise, that small act of attention made me feel seen. One Friday, an issue with a customer's loan application kept us both late. I stayed to correct the errors, and Liam came over to help. The office was hushed, a stark contrast to its daytime chaos. The overhead lights were dimmed, casting long shadows across the empty desks. We sat side by side, poring over the documents. After a long stretch of silence, he turned to me. "Ava, can I tell you something?" I looked up. "Of course." "I have a problem," he said, his gaze dropping to the floor. I waited. "I have a hard time staying faithful in relationships." I didn't quite process it at first. "What do you mean?" "When I'm with someone," he explained, his voice low, "I keep talking to other women. I don't know why, I just do." I blinked, momentarily speechless. A cold feeling washed over me. "Don't you care about the person you're with?" I asked. "I do care," he insisted. "But after a while I get bored. I'm always looking for something new." I was stunned. I turned to look out the window. The streetlights had come on, illuminating an empty street and a silent bus stop. "That's not right," I finally said. "If you commit to someone, you should only care about them. It's not fair to hurt them like that." He looked at me, his voice softening. "I know, but it's hard for me to change." We sat in a heavy silence. Part of me felt a flicker of pity for him, for his internal struggle. But a stronger part felt a rising anger. I wanted to offer help, but I didn't know how. Later that week, my curiosity got the better of me. I asked him more about his past. "You mentioned you were in a relationship before. What happened?" He told me. "I lived with a woman named Diane. She was 46. She had 4 kids." "4 kids," I repeated, surprised. "Yes," he confirmed. 3 with one man, 1 with another. We didn't have any children together." "How long were you with her?" 10 years, he said. "We even bought a house together." I was taken aback. "Did she leave you?" "Yes," he said. "She sold her share of the house and left." "Why did she leave?" I pressed. He didn't answer. I asked again, slowly and deliberately, "Was it because you were talking to other women?" He looked at me, his eyes wide. He said nothing, but his expression told me everything. That was it. She left because he had shattered her trust. A coldness settled deep within me. "You hurt her," I said quietly. "You only think about yourself." He looked away, offering no reply. After that conversation, everything changed. He stopped talking to me. He would walk past my desk without a glance, without a hello. If he needed help, he asked someone else. I felt a pang of sadness. I thought maybe he just needed space, but I also began to feel that he had no real desire to change. He didn't want to hear the truth. Before I continue with my story, I'd like to ask you something. Where in the world are you listening from? Knowing that my words are reaching someone who might understand, gives me strength. Please let me know in the comments. I would truly love to hear from you. After that day, the atmosphere at work shifted. Liam's cheerful greetings were gone. He still laughed and joked with others, but a silence would fall over him whenever I entered the room. It was an unsettling feeling. I hadn't done anything wrong, I had only been honest. But perhaps the truth was too painful for him to face. Or perhaps he preferred someone who would stay silent, someone who wouldn't challenge him. Initially, I felt a sense of loss. I had enjoyed our small talks. I had considered him a friend. But now I saw him through a different lens. He was a man who didn't want to change, who prioritized his own fleeting desires over the feelings of others. Weeks melted into months. Spring blossomed into a warm summer. The days grew longer. At work, the routine continued. I sat at my desk, I helped customers, I smiled. But a weariness had settled in my heart. One afternoon, my old friend Sophie stopped by the bank. She greeted me with a warm hug. "Let's do lunch this weekend," she said. I smiled. "I'd love that." We met at a small cafe on Saturday, sitting outside under the warm sun with sandwiches and iced tea. We chatted about our jobs, books we were reading, and shared old memories. Then Sophie asked, "Do you know Liam from your office?" I hesitated for a moment. "Yes," I said slowly. She laughed. "I met him at a party last week. He was with a woman, I think she's his new girlfriend." "Oh," was all I could manage. "She's very pretty," Sophie added. "And so young, maybe 24 or 25. I stared down into my glass, saying nothing. Sophie studied my face. "Did you ever have a thing for him?" I was quiet for a long moment. "I thought he was a good person," I finally admitted. "But I don't think that anymore." I didn't tell her the whole story, about his confession, his past, his cold behavior. The weight of it was too much to share, and I didn't want to speak of him anymore. But after our lunch, a thought kept circling in my mind. Why do people wear a mask of kindness when their hearts are not kind? Why do they shatter hearts and walk away as if nothing ever happened? One morning at work, I saw Liam and his new girlfriend outside the building. She was waiting for him, wearing a bright red dress, her hand in his. He looked happy. Later, as he passed my desk, I asked, "Is that your girlfriend?" He smiled. "Yes." "Is she nice?" "She's very nice," he replied. I looked him straight in the eye. "Are you going to treat her the same way you treated the others?" His expression faltered. The smile shrank. He didn't answer, but I saw a flicker of something in his eyes, anger, maybe, or resentment that I was judging him. Or perhaps he felt nothing at all. I felt a profound sadness, not because I had feelings for him, because I didn't. I felt sad for this young woman. She didn't know the truth. She only saw the charming exterior, the easy jokes, the helpful smile. She hadn't seen the cold, selfish side. I wanted to warn her, but it wasn't my place. Some lessons have to be learned on one's own. After that, I made a conscious decision to let go of any thoughts about Liam. I turned my focus inward, on myself. I started reading more. I enrolled in a painting class, and I made a point to visit my parents every Sunday. I took long, peaceful walks after work, listening to music and experimenting with new recipes. I felt better. I felt free. One Friday evening, my manager asked me to assist with a new project aimed at helping young people open their first bank accounts. I was part of a small team, which included a man named Noah. Noah was 32, quiet and genuinely kind. He listened more than he spoke, had a love for numbers and tea, and was completely different from Liam. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, he was just himself. We worked together for 3 weeks. Our conversations were simple. "Dogs or cats?" he asked one day. "Cats," I said. "I have one named Momo." He smiled. "That's a nice name." Another day, he brought me a small cup of green tea. "You always drink coffee, try this for a change." I laughed and accepted. It was good. He smiled. "See, not everything new is bad." That one line resonated with me. Not everything new is bad. It was a small reminder that not all men were like Liam. Some people were honest. Some people did care. But I also realized something profound. I had changed. I was no longer the same Ava. I used to hope a person would come into my life and make me feel special. Now I wanted to be the one to make myself feel special. I grew to love my own company, my tea, my music, and my quiet life. I had no appetite for drama or lies. I didn't want a smile that didn't reach the eyes. The days passed serenely. Summer gave way to early autumn. The trees blazed with orange and yellow, and a crispness returned to the morning air. The project with Noah ended, but we still chatted occasionally. He once told me, "It's nice working with someone who thinks before they speak." It was a simple compliment, but it meant the world. Liam was still at the bank. We were just coworkers now, exchanging professional-grade pleasantries. I no longer felt sadness or anger when I saw him, only a quiet neutrality. One afternoon, I saw him and his girlfriend again. This time, they weren't smiling. They were arguing near the parking lot. I couldn't hear their words, but I saw the hurt on her face and the exhaustion on his. I turned and walked away. That evening, I sat in my small apartment, sipping tea with Momo purring in my lap. I watched the wind rustle the autumn leaves outside my window and felt a deep sense of peace. I reflected on the past year and how much had changed, not in the world around me, but within me. I used to believe that love was the answer, that one person could fix everything. Now I understood that peace comes from letting go of the wrong things. I didn't want someone who made me feel small or someone who was already looking for the next best thing while holding my hand. I wanted honesty, kindness, and patience. And I realized that if I couldn't find those qualities in someone else, it was okay, because I was finally finding them in myself. One Sunday, visiting my parents, my mother asked the familiar question, "Are you seeing anyone?" I smiled. "No, Mom." She looked at me intently. "Are you happy?" I looked at the trees, the sky, the familiar comfort of my childhood home. "Yes," I said, my voice clear and certain. "I am happy." She took my hand. "You are strong," she said. "Always remember that." I just smiled, my heart full. The next week, Sophie called, and we took the train into the city. We walked through Central Park, drank coffee from a street cart, and laughed until our sides hurt. "You look good," she said. "You're glowing." "I feel light," I replied. "Like I've finally put down something heavy." That night, I looked at my reflection. I saw a woman who had learned to love her own company, a woman who no longer needed to chase someone incapable of loving her back. I saw a woman who had chosen peace. A few weeks later, Noah invited me to a museum. "There's a new art exhibit. Would you like to go?" I said yes. We spent hours admiring the paintings, talking quietly. He was just himself, kind, a good listener, and he even asked how Momo was doing. As we left the museum, the sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. "Ava, you're different," he said. "You're calm, you know what you want." I smiled. It took some time to learn. He didn't try to hold my hand or talk about love, and I appreciated that. It was simple and real. That night, I wrote in my journal, "I am not waiting anymore. I am not hoping someone will change. I am not afraid to be alone. I am free. Maybe one day I will meet someone who shares my peace. Maybe not. But either way, I know I will be okay." The girl who once waited for someone else to be honest has become the woman who is honest with herself. And that is more than enough. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you find your own peace, too.